What's going on, everybody? Good morning. So today we have a Freightliner Cascadia 2015 2016. The engine is having some issues. We have issues with coolant in the surge tank. It's getting a little too high. This was replaced. Looks like the thermostat was replaced. Engine was rebuilt, not here at this shop, somewhere else, about a year ago. The cylinder head was replaced about a month ago. Why, I don't know exactly, other than coolant issues. Okay, it's starting to get pressure, pushes all the coolant out, and it goes from there. So we do have some lights on currently. Let me show you guys really quick what we got going on here. Got a check engine light, malfunction light. It's got 1 million miles. Again, I don't know how long ago it was rebuilt, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. But we're going to find out what's going on. Let's find out first what the codes are and go from there. So we've already connected our software. Let's see here. Here we go. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this gives you guys a better picture there. All right. Like I said, we've got a new CPC. It's only got what is that? 138,000 miles. Let's go over here. Going to find out our fault codes. We have vehicle speed sensor circuit failed low. Vehicle speed sensor circuit failed low. So that's an interesting one, because last I checked, that could be a harness issue, but we're gonna have to dig a little deeper. We're not gonna go ahead and guess. I need to confirm the customer's complaints first. Let's see here. Let's go over to the EGR side. Okay, DPF zone 0. To my knowledge, there is no delete on this truck. Current temperature is 162 degrees. So what I'm gonna do right now, just to get a better idea of what the hell's going on, I'm gonna do a parked regen. Okay, this will just kind of either help confirm a few different things and go from there. So again, vehicle speed sensor circuit, that usually tells me that we either have a bad sensor or a bad harness. But again, we're going to dive into that a little bit further at another time. Just right now, I want to see what hurts. I want to see what's going on with this truck and go from there. So stand by, guys. Let's warm this truck up, start a regen, and then we're going to keep our eyes on it and see what's going on. Okay, guys, before I start the regen, I want to check a few things. Now, the surge tank itself, as you can tell, is very full. I think we've got a lot of pressure in here, but I haven't popped the top yet. This level here on the overfill side was a lot higher. Okay, now it's actually going down, so that kind of tells me this thing's kind of feeding back into the truck itself. Let's find out. Again, I think they may have put too much coolant, or we really do have a lot of compression. I don't know. As I start releasing the cap, you're going to notice it's going to start. Oh, there we go. Not too bad. This fucker is definitely full. Woo-wee. All right, we got a lot of coolant in there, but again, it could be because it's warm, so not bad. I expected some compression to come out and have this radiator cap pop off, and it did not do that. So first thing first, check some levels, make sure we have oil, make sure we have everything we need, and we're gonna do a regen. So let's do that right now. Oil level's good. Coolant still looks really high, but again, I'm gonna let that slide for right now. I do wanna see what's gonna happen when we start this truck up and begin to do a parked regen. So first thing first, make sure we are in neutral. Let's start it up. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Oil pressure good. Again, I still have the lights on. That's for the vehicle speed sensor. That could be a programming issue or a harness issue, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Like I said, we're going to move forward and do a park regen. I want to see what's going to happen. Let's find out. So first thing first, service routines, start park regen. It's going to say pending. There we go. Jake brakes are working. You can always tell Jake brakes are working because number one, you can hear it, and number two, they are 100%. That's a good sign. There we go. So DOC inlet pressure. I'm just going to keep an eye on everything here. So let's see what's going to happen and go from there. So I'll keep you guys posted. Pressure's good. Temperatures are going to start to rise. Again, we're only about 10 minutes into this regen, so nothing terrible. did struggle a little bit. That could be a fuel issue, entirely different than what's going on here. Right now, I'm gonna go here to the fuel system integrity. I'm not gonna run the test, but if you notice, desired rail pressure 800, and what I'm actually getting 772. So we may have an issue there where we have a bad fuel pump. Look at, you can see the difference. We're not supposed to have this much of a variance. These should be pretty close together, but obviously this is higher because this is what the computer is requesting, and this is what we're getting. So we have two different things going on right now. Not really a good thing, but you know, we'll find out a little bit more once we dive in deeper. Regen still not really happening yet, but again, we're only about 10 minutes in, so I'm not worrying about it. Pressure is good. Instrumentation, our water pump's working. Let's go over here to the EGR side. Yeah, see, wheel-based. So we have an issue there, but again, I'll worry about that later, and that has to do with these two fault codes right now. So for now, I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to worry about it. So, all right, let's find out and see what happens. I want to see what this baby's going to do. Is it going to throw some coolant out? What's going on? I don't know. I don't like that at all, but stand by. Okay, guys, so far so good. As far as temperatures go, pressures go. Pressure is a little high on the DOC inlet, so that may be something going on in the one box. I am concerned about something here. Let me show you 1 second, guys. It's a little loud. All right, guys, so what I'm concerned about is this getting full. I don't recall those getting full. Either we have a bad surge tank, which is possible, or there's something else going on, but I have not been able to duplicate the customer's problem as far as, or concern as far as coolant or pressure compression issues. So I'm gonna let the regen run all the way through. I wanna see what it does. We started at 1050, right now we are at 1115. So we have about another 15 minutes, maybe 20 more minutes to go before the regen is done. So I'm gonna let it continue to do its thing. I'll keep you guys posted and see what we find. Okay guys, so roughly 40 to 45 minutes for doing a park regen. And so far everything looks good. NOx efficiency was good. Right now it just dropped. It always does that. It was about 90%, which I think that was really good. Let's see, we still have no reading on the sensor, so it should be 0. We'll have to fix that later. Temperatures were good. Let me go back to this other screen really quick. So temperature good. Coolant temperature's good. Pressure was a little high on the inlet. We may have an issue when it comes to the DOC inlet, but there's a few things that are concerning to me. Number one, this should be empty, right? So that's number one. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So number one, this should be lower. So this could be because it's an aftermarket. I'm gonna have to recommend that we go with an original one with the customer, see what they want to do there. I have no leaks here at all, okay? As far as my fuel pressure, that I was also concerned about a little bit. Let me go here to my actions tab. I'm gonna go to the fuel system, and then I'm gonna go to fuel system integrity check. As of now, at idle, look at that, 300, that's good. However, when we got on the actual regen side, the desired was 800 and the actual was like 760 or 770. So that, I don't like that discrepancy. That may be a potential problem there. Here we go, 1 second, let me go back. I'm gonna see if I can do an idle speed balance test, but I cannot because transmission must be in neutral. So right now the truck, since it can't read speed, it's not gonna let us do that test right now. Compression test, I'll do that in a little bit. I want to just see what's going on. So as of now, I don't see any real problems when it comes to overheating, coolant, compression. So I think the issue has been resolved. Maybe there was a problem with either the radiator cap or something else. So for now, once this thing cools off, I'm going to probably recommend we replace that with the original. I'm going to do a compression test. I'm probably going to check the valve, make sure all that's good. And I think that's pretty much it for this truck, with the exception of the vehicle speed sensor. So if we have a vehicle speed sensor issue, we're going to have to get down underneath, check from the vehicle speed sensor down on the back of the tail, the transmission, and check the wiring harness all the way up. So we may have a potential problem there or a programming issue. I'll have to dive in a little bit deeper. So anyway, that's a good thing. Nothing really to be too concerned about other than, hey, number one, our surge tank, number two, our fuel pump, and then obviously this vehicle speed sensor circuit. So we're going to check all that out and go from there, guys. So not bad. So I'll keep you all posted. I'm going to try to do it part two, like a little bit of a follow-up on this one. So this is just part one, and we'll go from there, guys. Stand by. Thank you for watching. Regen is done. Regen is successful. I'm not able to verify the customer's complaint as far as coolant kind of splurging out and going everywhere. I don't know what the hell happened. It's kind of hard to try to duplicate a problem and not be successful at it. So as of now, everything looks good. Doing a regen is really nice because it does kind of force the engine to do some things and push things out and trigger some fault codes and things like that. So as of now, my main concern is going to be this surge tank. We're going to probably go back to the original. This is definitely aftermarket. That's number one. There was an issue where the fuel pump was not giving me the desired. Well, actually it was giving me desired but not actual. So that's going to be concern number two. Number three was going to be the DOC inlet pressure was kind of high at 1.1, 1.2, so there may be a face plug situation there. The next thing, we're going to do a compression test, and we're going to check the valves once this whole thing cools off and go from there. So I'll keep the customer posted, see what he says or see what they want to do and go from there. So for now, oh, and by the way, yeah, we're going to have to take care of this check engine light. What's happening, or what's not happening, is it's not getting the signal from the wheel speed sensor or the wheel base sensor, which could be your transmission. Either there's something there with the plug, there's something there in the harness, and it's not reaching all the way up here to the CPC or down towards the MCM. So either way, there's a communication issue there, which is kind of causing that problem. Okay, so we'll figure that out in a sec. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect here really quick. Now I like to do compression tests really quick, just when it's cold and when it's hot, just to run the numbers and compare them. So sometimes you do get different numbers when it's hot, and sometimes you get different numbers when it's cold. You're going to go up to your actions tab. You're going to go to relative compression test. It's going to let you know once it's online when you can go ahead and perform the test. So again, make sure it's in neutral. All right, ready to be started. Oh, hold on. Going to go to run test. Click on yes. Again, it's just a little disclosure. We're going to crank it and let it crank on its own. It will stop when it's done measuring, and I will show you that right now in a second, but I got to put this down, so stand by. All right, guys, so I found a way to kind of mount it, and this way I can use two hands. So make sure you're in neutral, make sure your clutch is in. If it's an automatic, obviously not a problem, but this is a manual transmission. You're going to push the clutch down, and you're going to crank, and it will stop on its own. So hold down the key. All right, apparently that's all it took. Sometimes they crank a lot longer, sometimes they don't. So compression is good. We definitely don't have any issues. Maybe a little bit here, just at 92%. Once it cools off, I'm gonna verify the valves are adjusted properly. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're definitely within spec. So that is definitely not a problem. We have good compression. Let me take this camera off of here. So let's let it cool off. We're gonna start fixing these things one by one and get this truck back on the road.